I have good internet on God. Nice! When you think of a Roblox JoJo game, you often think of something like YBA, like AUT, maybe even like ABD, or, God forbid, Stand Upright. While some certainly handle them better than others, they share many fatal flaws in common. Grinding is excessive. Not only excessive, but excessively boring. Playing these games, more often than you'd like, you'll come up on people who only play the game just to grind. Whether for skins or for stands, they end up wasting all their time on grinding and zero time learning the combat. What results is basically what the United States has right now, an unbelievably high amount of weapons and a shocking majority who don't really know how to use them. Oh wow, this guy grinded all the way to Lightbringer, he has to be skilled! Even when you find someone to fight, the combat lacks one key element that makes the official JoJo game so much better than the Roblox wannabes, and that's a power meter. Sure, in YBA you have Rage Mode, but when you dive deeper into it, the two are barely comparable. Rage Mode can only be used once, it's one bar, and all it does is forbid you from using time skip for a move barely even comparable to the likes of the World Over Heaven or Star Platinum the World's time stops. But all of this can be fixed. If not by YBA, if not by AUT, then by a new competitor in the field. The one-all be-all of JoJo games. The sleep paralysis demon of UzuKee. Project Heritage. Update! Update! It's coming! Update! Collective magnum opus of the Roblox JoJo community, and it's certainly not the next YBA in its current state. But here's this analogy, because if there's one thing that unites us Joes, it's sitting on our asses all day and eating processed foods. If YBA is the main course, then Project Heritage is the appetizer. A snack even. Something to settle down the rumblies, the insatiable lust for an update to YBA. And even with all its flaws, I still find it pretty fun to play. Project Heritage is the first JoJo game I've played in ages that hasn't been a phenomenally disappointing piece of absolute trash. Now that's not saying a lot, considering I recently played Stand Upright Rebooted, but still of good note. The aim of the game is similar to that of End the JoJo game. Simply, fight. That's it. There's no shutting your brain off to look around a terribly made map for hours, nor for using mysterious arrows that take years to finish talking to you. Nada. Zero. Nil. In that way, it's kind of like an arcade, which is calming in a sense, and quite charming. There's no continuity. You hop on, you're cheese to play the game, you fight, you leave after getting fucking destroyed by people who actually know what they're doing, you hop on the next day with the hope that you'll be better this time, you're cheese to be playing again, you fight, you rage quit because you got teamed on. The cycle begins anew. And while obviously there's a lot of merit to a game with an actually good storyline, it's just not happening with Roblox JoJo. Sorry, someone had to say it. The developers are always only good at one type of writing. Either they're good at story writing and their game genuinely sucks programming-wise, or they made YBA. So in this day and age, it's quite refreshing to find a game that doesn't beat around the bush and torture you with dialogue you never fucking read. No grinding, no storyline, no bullshit, no bitches. Just get into the combat and go. The main draw to this game, in fact, is combat. Because of the fact that there's no bullshit to sidetrack the devs, the only thing they can work on is combat. Which is great, because it means there's a good 6 nearly entirely fleshed out stands that await you in this game. Not only that, but the combat itself in its base form has some actual mechanics to it. And I think the best part is that it's the perfect balance between complete idiocy where a baby could learn how to play, and a combat system that you'd only expect NASA executives to be able to master. It's not overly simple, it's not overly complicated. The only controls you really need to know going in across all stands are Control to run, X to block, and C to dash. Having a simple foundation like that to build upon with the moves that your actual stand has is essential to a good combat system. And the same balance is pretty much achieved in YBA, except for one tiny yet amazingly genius detail: the meter. In YBA, you can use all of your moves, save for time stop on rage stands, immediately. Of course, this comes with the incredibly fair and balanced consequence of being able to fucking one-shot people with SCR with the press of a button. Now obviously, you could just nerf these moves, make them less potent, but you know what that results in? A stale game. What's a fighting game without the climactic pleasure of finishing your opponent with a move that you worked hard to build meter for, that you never could have used at the start of the game? If every fighting game removed the one-all be-all finisher move that you get to flex on the poor soul that got in the way of your rampage, well hell, I may as well just finish myself. Buying a car, going viral, graduating, buying a house, getting married, having your first child, winning the lottery, I don't care. There is no greater gratification than time-stopping your opponent at the end of a match. Whether in Heritage for the Future, All-Star Battle, Eyes of Heaven, YBA, AUT, whatever. Obviously, however, there's a core difference between the official Heritage for the Future, All-Star Battle, and Eyes of Heaven time stops, and the wannabe YBA and AUT time stops. That being the meter. It makes you feel more like shit than anything to pull up to your opponent, see them pull out a non-time stop resistant stand, and massacre them within 15 seconds to save them 15% or less on their health bar. What? I mean, sometimes when I abuse these overpowered abilities in YBA, I begin to feel bad at how stupidly easy I win. How my opponent faces zero chance whatsoever. Not happening in HFTF, not happening in ASB or Eyes of Heaven, and definitely not happening in Project Heritage. The thing about the meter is that you get to earn your way to using that cheesy finisher move. You get the chance to earn your badge, soldier. I mean, as if you'd ever pass the weight limit test to join the military if you're playing JoJo games this much. Point is, it's not only a lot fairer to your opponent to get to earn that move, but also a lot more fun to use the move when you do use it. And I've just been using the time stop example so far. I mean, there's 6 stands in the game, and half of them don't even have time stop in the first place. The beauty of the universal meter, rather than a special meter for only certain special stands for certain special moves like in YBA, is that you can use this universal meter on practically anything. Here's an example. I use D4C way more than I'd like to admit, and it has a dimension hop move that takes 4 levels from your meter. Not only that, it has a different move to clone yourself that takes 2 levels from your meter. Could you fucking imagine how beautiful of a place the world would be if in YBA, D4C needed to actually fight you first to build up the meter to use clones or run the fuck away with dimension hop? That has been my fantasy, my wet dream for so fucking long. Forget YouTube being my dream. I would easily sell my entire channel to Uzu for 3 cents and a hot dog, just for a goddamn D4C rework, let alone a rework to every stand so that each had a meter. Now, imagine all of that being fixed. Runners, people who play cooldowns in Turtle All game, all of that turns to dust when you play this game. This is fucking radical. I haven't even tried any stands other than D4C and Star Platinum of the World. I don't even get bored of them because of how in-depth the combat is. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to the combat. So, as you join, you'll be greeted with this very simplistic menu. I'm sure you guys can all figure out what button to press from here. Main game. Who cares about the terms and conditions? You actually probably should read those. I just can't be fucked. And now I'm going to turn that off because that is probably copyrighted. And here we go. Here's the basics of it. You're going to start with standless. I have D4C equipped right now, but there, as you can see, there are 6 different stands to choose from. You can just choose from this menu at any time that you please. I'm just going to stick to D4C for now for the purposes of this tutorial, and we're just going to get straight into combat. Now I'm going to go to the silly, wacky little corner that I discovered in the corner of the map where no one goes apparently, and that is where the punching bags are, which actually get knocked back from knockback, which is pretty cool. So immediately you'll notice that M1s do M1s as you would expect. That is an M1, yes. First thing you'll need to know, run, control, right? That does actually take stamina down, and I think stamina is one of the fatal flaws to this game because it is kind of annoying that you have to be in control of your stamina at all times, because when you run out of stamina, it just gets so boring to walk around everywhere. But it is what it is. Also, you can't run sideways. That's what I've noticed about this game. Even if you press control, you can't run sideways. You just pan. It's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. You have your health bar to the top left and your meter to your bottom left, which we will talk about later. Of course, on the topic of mobility, C is to dash. You can do that in any which direction, I believe. Yes, you can. You just have to be... Oh! And of course, I'm sure you can figure this out, X is to block. Now, blocking is a little bit unclear in this game. I haven't quite gotten it figured out just yet because I've only played it for 3 days, but for now, I know for sure that you can block M1s and you can block stand barrages. Stand barrage finishers, you definitely cannot block, but I'm pretty sure you can parry. There is a parry system in this game, and that is to be noted, but I haven't fully gotten through with the kinks just yet, so you'll just have to see for yourself. There are some moves that look like they would be able to be blocked, like in YBA, for example, if we were in the terms of YBA blocking, but they aren't. So don't get tripped up by those, just, you know, you'll get better with practice, basically. And of course, on the topic of moves, why don't we just get straight into those? I'm using D4C right now. Q is stand summon, obviously. E, who would have guessed, stand barrage. R is, who would have guessed, stand barrage finisher. And actually, there's a cool thing. You can charge by holding R for your stand barrage finisher, and it will actually do even more damage, and it will be unparryable. Of course, obviously, this leaves you very open to attack, and you can have it cancelled. It's not like it's hyper armor or anything. Obviously, of course, what proceeds after that is M1s. And what proceeds after that is just some various moves that will differ from stand to stand. For me, I have T, which is a counter, which I can't really, show to you right now. Z is... I don't know what Z is. Z is nothing, right. On some stands, it'll be time skip. I know Star Platinum of the World has Z for time skip. V is, Brooklyn. And what I do like about this game is the ridiculously funny sound when you start comboing. I mean, you'll know this almost instantly. Like, when you hit 5 consecutive gunshots in a row, it is basically like you just RKO'd in fucking boxing. You hear that? That's the sound of gaming. Pro gaming. And, I mean, those are the basics of it. Oh, right! I almost forgot the meter. That's the most important part, and the one I'm raving about all the time. Basically, the meter just dictates when you can use certain moves. I don't think I can use it right now because I don't have meter, and I'm pretty sure you can't get it from just, like, punching fucking punching bags. But you will increase your meter by getting damaged, or by damaging, just like in Heritage for the Future, just like in All-Star Battle, just like in Eyes of Heaven, just like in YBA with Rage Mode. And what's interesting about the meter, obviously, is that you can use it for moves. For example, with D4C, you can use it for Dimension Hop, which gives you, like, immediate hyper armor, immediate iframes, just lets you go wherever the fuck you want, and it is OP. But of course, you can't just spam it. You need 4 meter to do it, which makes it pretty balanced when you think about it. 2 meter for a clone that you need to do while you're standless, and that'll just shoot. I mean, it's not very useful. I wouldn't waste 2 meter on it, but it is what it is. And yeah, that's the gist of it. I'm just gonna blow you back into the pre-recorded script real quick. Yep, that's it. I'm sure I have a few more things to learn, what with me not having played this game for any more than 3 days, but that's the gist of it. And the best part is, you can have fun not being confused all the time, while simultaneously learning new things about the combat as you go. The learning curve isn't a perpendicular line. For once in Roblox JoJo history, the learning curve is actually a curve. You don't even need to look up a guide. You don't need to memorize what goofy-ass items combined together give you the stinky ultra-rare The World Over Rice Requiem with hot sauce. You don't need to memorize the silly-ass unique combat system that the devs put into place because they're clearly making up for something in their pants. Hell, you didn't even need me to tell you this. This could have been a completely silent 15-ish minute video with a black screen, and you could have still figured out, with the only brain cells you have left from playing Roblox for all this time, that X is for blocking, C is for dashing, Control is for running, and Q is for stand summoning. After that, if you have any further questions, especially concerning the stand moves, just look at the Trello, and your questions will evaporate into thin air. Hell, if you have any more questions than that, you can pop into my Discord server in the link below at any time, and I'll be creepily waiting for you at the entrance door at any hour of the day to greet you and clear up anything you need. The best part of the game is, it's not memorization that gets you to the best results in combat. It's practice. So, since this game isn't about memorizing the facts, how about I stop spitting them at you for a second and let you go play on your own for a little? I've talked enough about it, and obviously, there's going to be a lot of flaws, mostly to do with lag, balancing, and combat. But it's an alpha, so it's to be expected that the game isn't immediately as ironed out as the Transcontinental Railroad. Go ahead, try it. It's certainly not the next YBA, but while we wait for the next update, and while we wait for All-Star Battle R, it's probably the closest we're gonna get. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to absolutely assault the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed, and see you all next time. Sayonara.